Hey everyone, welcome to episode 24 of Answers to Questions. I'm John T. Meyer, and this episode is all about remote work. I feel like we should shoot this in Cancun or something. So let me first tell you a little bit about my thoughts on remote work. We just wanted the best people, right? We wanted the best talent at Lemonly, the best designers, the best project managers, whoever those people are or wherever they are, we wanted the best. Now they also had to fit the culture and our core values and what we believe in. I think it's really essential you try very, very hard to make sure your remote people feel included in the culture. Now, if your company's 100% remote, that's probably fine, and your culture is maybe a little different and unique. At Lemonly, the other 75% are here in the office, so we try really hard. We use Slack as a tool to keep in touch, share funny jokes, give them updates. We do a video conference every single Monday to really hear from them and just say what's going on in your life and what's going on in work today. And then we try to actually fly our people in all together twice a year. So make sure they're connected, but definitely look into it. It allows you to not only get great talent, but different perspectives, different parts of the country or the world, and remote work can be super powerful. We got two great questions specifically about remote work on the Facebook page. And the first one comes from Ileana Enid, and she said, who are remote workers? What skills do they have? And how do you take the first step? Ileana, I think remote workers can be anyone. I think in our particular company at Lemonly, we've probably had two types. One being someone who was from South Dakota, worked here in the headquarters, would love to stay here, but life took her a different place. And so she kind of became a remote worker, never really seeking out to be one, but just loved working with Lemonly. And so we made sure to set it up so that she can continue to work at Lemonly, albeit in a different location. Now, the other type, I think, are people who know they want to be remote workers. They don't want to be tied down to one location. Maybe they want to travel, be a little bit more nomadic. And so we have three folks who live in Vancouver who want to stay in Vancouver or want to travel. And so they are very, they kind of sought out remote jobs. And so I think remote workers come in all shapes and sizes today. One thing that we know is it's increasing more and more and more. So we're going to see a huge trend as we continue in the future of more remote work. So if you want to be one, you can be one. How do you take the first step? You can find jobs specifically for remote work, or just start to prove in your current job, ask your boss, hey, can I work from home this afternoon? Or can I work from home one day a week? And start to buy the trust when you do work from home. Show that you're productive, that you're efficient, communicate. And if you get your stuff done, hopefully they should allow you to do it wherever you want. Second question comes in from our friend David Whitesock. He said, we think of culture fit from inside the four walls of our office. If an important element of a company, how is that ensured with remote staff? That's a great question, David. I think you really have to have the whole company bought into this idea of remote work, right? So it can be really tough if you have, we have 20 employees. If we had 19 in the office and one remote, do those other 19 people support that? Does that one person feel supported? So I think when you talk about within four walls, we try to we'll say that language, but our walls can be very openly defined, right? And so two of our core values, collaboration and adventure, I think play great into remote work. Adventure is doing things out of the norm, exploring, traveling, going and trying, taking risk. Collaboration for us, especially in a world of 2017, can exist in a lot of ways. Collaboration in a conference room, on some stadium stairs, or on Slack, or on a phone call. So I think what those things mean to us today really change and evolve. But yes, if your boss, if leadership, if the employees across the org chart don't buy into the idea of remote work, it's going to be tough to get it outside of those four walls. So we wanted to share a few tips from remote workers themselves. Like I said, we have 4 at Lemonly, 1 in Idaho and 3 in Vancouver. So let's hear their tips.
Hey, I'm Cheryl.
I'm Daphne. I'm Lan.
And we're working from Vancouver. And we just had a couple of tips on remote working to share with you.
Tip number 1, try to keep an open line of communication with your team, whether that's over Slack, a quick phone call, or email. There's no such thing as over-communicating.
Tip number 2, find a place where you're going to be the most productive. I like a bright, quiet space.
And tip number 3, try to switch up your working space from time to time, so you're not always working from home. You can try out working at a cafe or co-working space and try to meet other people as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy from Lemonly. I'm a project manager working remotely from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and I have a couple remote working tips for you today. The first one being to start your day with a to-do list. This will provide structure in an often kind of structureless feeling role as a remote worker. It allows you to focus on the tasks at hand and just really outline your day so that you're free of distractions, and overall it aids in your productivity. And my second tip is to have a little work buddy, such as this little guy, for those lonely days when the office feels quiet and you have no one to talk to. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys.
All right, so that's all the questions that we have on this episode about remote work. But the question of the week here for episode 24 are, what are tools or tips or resources that you recommend for remote work? I'm going to start with two of my own. First is a great book from the guys at Basecamp, formerly 37 Signals, called Remote. Read that book if you want to be a remote employee. Read that book if you're a boss and you're thinking about offering remote work. Or maybe buy that book for your boss if you want them to consider remote work. It really helps kind of prepare and lay a foundation for remote work. And the second resource, if you're thinking about getting into it, is a really cool website called remoteyear.com. And so it's a company or organization that actually organizes trips all across the world. So you go to 12 different places throughout the year and you work the entire year remotely. And they have a job board there, so check out that website. That's all we have for episode 24 about remote work. If you have a question for a future episode, tweet me at John T. Meyer, leave a comment on the Facebook page, or use the hashtag AQJTM. And here are a few other ways you can contact.